Hi everyone. I wanted to take a look at some tactical patterns in this video. Some of these tactics are new, some of them I've covered before, but I think a little review is always helpful. So let's get started. The first one is a very simple pattern, but actually it occurred in a game and someone pointed it out to me. Let's go forward to the end of this sequence here, and we'll put the pattern on. So I call this pattern the boot. I like to give these cute little names to these patterns just because it helps me remember them. They're just my made-up names, so don't don't be confused if people don't know what you're talking about if you start talking about the boot. But take a look at this pattern up here. Black is surrounding these white stones, and those stones are already dead. And as long as there's no Ataris on the outside that white has, there's no way for those stones to escape. And actually I had a pattern similar to this in a game, and I placed an extra stone down here at J13, I think, or the equivalent. And that's a wasted move. If it's black's move, black can place a stone anywhere on the board, and there may be many better places to place that stone rather than trying to ensure a group is already dead. Trying to ensure a group is dead when it's already dead. So why is this dead? Well, like I said, there's no Ataris on the outside, so there's no immediate threats there. If white cuts, then you have time to capture this group because this is an Atari. So even if white can make an Atari on the next move, then you capture that group. So that's why, as long as there's no Ataris on the outside, the cuts don't work or are not enough to save that group. And if you try to escape like this, if white tries to escape out the side, once again you can place that whole group in Atari with this one move, and cutting is too late. You just capture. So if he connects, you capture that way. So this is the boot. And when you have these stones in a boot, you don't have to play any more moves. I think that's the important point. So this can save you from a wasted move, and you get to play that move elsewhere. And these white stones can be in any shape. It's just the first time it happened to me, they were in this kind of shape, and I thought this sort of resembled a foot, and this resembled the boot around the foot. So the boot is any group of white stones. They can have any shape. The only thing that matters is that the two stones that have liberties are at the bottom, next to the edge, and there's only two of them. So if you get to three, then you do need to play an extra move in there to make sure they are captured. Okay, so that's the boot. Let's go on to the next pattern. The next one, unfortunately, I wasn't able to come up with a cute name for, so I'm just going to call it descriptively. I call this the two-space false eye. So there's a group of stones. If you look at the white stones here, it might look like they're alive, but in fact it's black's turn to move, and black can kill that group. So, well, the first point is that this really is a true eye here in the center. You can't, you can place those stones in Atari momentarily, but white can capture that. So, and if you surround, then white connects, and this group of stones has an eye here and an eye here. So this is not a false eye. It's these two spaces over here that make the false eye. And they're a false eye in this situation as well as in the previous one. And the way you sort of demonstrate that that's a false eye is you place a stone in here, and then when white captures that stone, because otherwise you're just going to capture this and then creep in, and this will only have one eye. So he takes, and then you attack on the outside, and it's too late for this cut. So now you can see, well, white can try and cause trouble here. Maybe that's not the most accurate way to cause trouble. You could try causing trouble like that way, but you connect. And now you see you have this group of stones which is completely surrounded, has only one eye, and there's no Ataris around the outside here, so no way for those stones to escape. So if we back up to the original position right here, yeah, black played that stone here to eliminate that cut, which might have set up an Atari on this stone here. And in this position, white needs to play here. And if white plays there, then this group is alive. But I've made this mistake before. I've played here trying to just gain a little more space and encroach into black space. But in fact, that loses immediately. That turned that true eye into a false eye, and oh yeah, actually, I guess I did that in the wrong order. That's an important point too here. You have to finish surrounding on this side before you go after that false eye. So the most accurate way to play it is to attack here, and then throw in here, and then go after it. And yeah, so that's the 2-space false eye. Let's go back to that position. And if someone thinks of a cute name for this, besides besides the descriptive name I gave it, I'd be interested in that. So leave one in the comments. Okay, the next pattern I wanted to look at was the horseshoe, and I did a video on this one. So we can I'll just talk about this briefly, but it's an interesting pattern, and it's kind of typical of weak connections. I mean, it looks like these two stones, this is a bamboo joint here at the bottom, so it looks like those two stones are connected to each other, and they are. And it looks like they're connected to this group, but not really. If it's white's turn to move, white could place a stone here at G12, and then these would be a connected group of stones with one eye. And as long as they're, have liberties on the outside, or they're connected to another eye out here, then they're still alive. But if it's black's turn to move, black can kill this part of the group. It's with the snapback. White captures, and then black captures that whole thing. So the important thing is these two stones and these two stones together. This set of 4 stones is completely surrounded. Then you have that throw in with the snapback. And I guess this pattern sort of looked like a horseshoe to me, because so that's why I gave it that name, the horseshoe. And sometimes that pattern turns up in games in a disguised form. I'll give you that as a little hint. Okay, and let's see. The 4th pattern I wanted to look at is the faulty hinge. This was one of the earliest patterns that I found and gave a name to. And well, this is very useful. This occurs surprisingly often. People sometimes walk into this without realizing they've set up a group of stones here that can just be captured. But this hinge here is a faulty hinge because it has a cut point. And even though there's these weaknesses on the outside, it's already too late. It's this cut here is, if it's black's turn, is going to capture those 2 stones, and it's too late for white to capture anything on the outside. So look for that faulty hinge, and when it shows up, be sure and take advantage of it, and you'll gain quite a few points picking up little things like that. So the most recent pattern that I discovered was sort of a variant of the faulty hinge. That's why I wanted to go back to the faulty hinge and review that one. And this is called the double hinge. And so after I had this the faulty hinge firmly entrenched in my brain, firmly entrenched, then I had this kind of general rule that, well, if there's the faulty hinge, it's a problem because there's just 2 stones. But if there's 3 stones, normally you have time to stop the attack. So with a hinge with 3 stones should be safe. But there are exceptions. And this is an example of what I call a double hinge. So even though there's 3 liberties on each side of this hinge, in fact, this is not going to survive the cut. And the problem is that the cut forces white to choose. Say white chooses to block on this side, then you extend on this side, and now this group is dead. There's no way to save it. And if you block on the other side, again, the stone extends. And if you play anywhere else after the cut, just extending is enough to capture either group in that case. Just an extension this way or that way. There's just no way for this that group of stones to escape. So the double hinge is something it's sort of an extension to the faulty hinge idea, and it's something to look out for. Let's see. I learned later after I did the video on the double hinge or the faulty hinge that that's part of a general pattern called Oi Otoshi, and I had a video on that as well as a video on the horseshoe. So I'll put links to those videos at the end of this guy. But I just wanted to point out these 5 patterns that are pretty interesting to keep in mind as you play the game. And then I had a short game that I played recently where a couple of these patterns turned up. So let's go over that game. This is an example, an actual game I played that illustrates some of those tactics that I just talked about. And I was facing a strong player here. I was playing Go Tickle TK, who has a 12Q rating. I think he was having a bit of an off day because he played well at first, but then he let me come back with some tactics. And in fact, the tactics really saved the game. I was in big trouble in this game because I misplayed the opening a little bit. So let's go through the game and we can talk about it. I have the black pieces, and he starts with this very territorial formation, and he stays with this territorial style, right? He takes 4 3-points. Well, it's not the most territorial move is the 3 3-point, but 4 3 is more territorial than the 4 4-point. So he goes for a territorial sort of opening, and then he invades here. And I had taken a big jump here, so this corner is subject to invasion. This is a legit invasion, and I just have to be content with surrounding it. I don't think this is bad so far, because in exchange for this invasion, I get a big wall on the outside. But it is the thing about the smaller board here, the 13 by 13 board, is there's a limit to how far this influence can be projected. And he's got a stone over here that limits how much territory I can actually build over here. So it could be, I mean, it's in general it's true that these corner invasions are more valuable in the 13 by 13 game. And he immediately, after I played that extra move here to make sure that there were no cuts, that might have been an unnecessary move, because he immediately invaded into the other corner. And so he ends up in a situation where he's got 2 corners. I play this this other Joseki with the double hane. So this gives white the outside, and I actually get to keep the corner with this pattern. And I did a video about the 3-3 invasion. If you're interested in that, this is kind of useful. It's a way of turning the tables on the invader. You get to capture these 2 stones. And so I thought it was worthwhile in this case. I'm giving this side to white. That's why this is generally considered okay for white as well, pretty good for white, and black doesn't often play this way. But in this case, I'm capturing these stones, and this corner is going to work together with this outside influence to give me territory over here. So I get 1 corner back. And then I start to invade. I think at this point I'm probably okay, but I have to be careful how I invade, and I should probably invade underneath. I wanted to invade on top. Invading from this side, or approaching from this side, seemed too slow. I've got this big group over here, and I want to try and build a lot of space. Coming from on top, though, allows him to come out to the side. Maybe that I should have just come underneath on this side. I think maybe that would have been a better choice, and try and limit how far that stone can spread in that direction. So he just defends the corner here, and somehow I wasn't able to get into the corner, and I wasn't able to get much on the outside. Well, I have this little bit outside influence here, but he's managed to poke out this way and eat into my potential space over here that I was thinking about creating. And then he also got this move in, and now this corner is secure. So this game is probably objectively lost at this point. It's just so I've lost the opening. I should have, like I said, I should have come inside over here, I think, and I also should have somehow managed to approach this corner before he got a second stone in. Yeah, I guess it was this move here that allowed him to play 1 more move over here. So I probably should have jumped at that point rather than sealing this guy in. I probably should have taken a look at this corner. So those little mistakes add up, and at this point he's got 3 of the 4 corners, and he's got pretty good shape over here, and I don't have a great way to seal off the interior. Even if I could win all this interior, it's not clear if that's enough to make up for the points that white already has. But he's got these stones projecting into the interior, and I don't have the ability to create a lot of space there. Anyway, I want to prevent this corner from approaching to the interior, and I'm going to try and make some points here. But as you'll see, this area still has not been sealed off, and he manages to get into the corner. I'm trying to reduce his territory on the side here, and let's get on towards the end game here. We're just kind of filling out, and you see that I've failed here in keeping his stones from invading the center here. So definitely a lost game at this point. But the game isn't over till it's over, and I played it out till the end game, and we're approaching a critical moment right here. This is an important point to note. I've got these stones that are captured. If he runs out, I extend. If he comes this way, I place a stone on this side, and well, just to show what this would be like, because it's should be a familiar pattern. You see, we've recreated the boot, so his stones can't escape here. And so that's important. But when he played this move, now he's threatening to get counter pressure on my stones. I have to capture right away. And so it's just important to be alert. If you've got these situations where you have a group of stones that's captured, but you haven't actually taken it yet, you have to be careful as your opponent approaches that area with other moves, that it might invalidate your plan for capturing those stones. So anyway, I went ahead and grabbed those stones right away. And then, let's see, played over here. I went in there, just trying to make as much territory as possible. Even lost games, I still at this stage like to play them out to the end, so I can count the points, see how much I lost by, and look at different ways to improve my play that would give me that many points. So I will play out a game that's objectively lost. It's right here after this move 86 that I first saw a pattern on the board that I might take advantage of. So if you remember what I was just talking about in the first half of this video, see if you can figure out what idea I had here. Okay, you can take some time to think about it. You can pause the video here if you want to. I'm going to play on, and the idea will become more obvious as I'm playing. Let's see. It takes a while for me to set up this tactical idea, so it's not immediately on the board just yet. But just this configuration of stones gave me an idea. So I start taking away liberties from this group. And he plays over here, and I ignore that and continue taking away liberties. And he ignores it again, and I play here. And now all the tactic is pretty well set up. He needs to save his stones right now, and he doesn't. He plays one more move over here, attacking my stones. Probably thinking this is a Sente move, which it is. I mean, it's an aggressive move that I should respond to. But I have a bigger move here, so this is your second chance. Do you see the move here that wins some stones for me? Okay, this is an example of the horseshoe tactic. These 2 stones here and these 2 stones here make that horseshoe pattern that I talked about. And I had to completely surround it first. These black stones here act like the wall in the case I had the horseshoe against a wall when I was illustrating it. But it can even occur in the middle of the board if you have a group that's completely surrounded. So I'm able to place a stone in here, and when he captures it, I get the snapback, and I've captured all of those stones. So this has improved my game a bit, although I think I'm still losing. All I've managed to do is secure the center, which is a big step forward. So now I've got a little bit on the side, and in this corner here, I had to give up some of the corner to do that. But I got this territory in the center secured, and he can't keep eating into the center. So it's a little more even, but I think white is still ahead at this point. Anyway, he finishes scooping out the corner, so basically took that corner away from me, but he didn't get a lot, and I managed to keep some territory on the side. So let's move forward to the next point. because there's one more interesting tactic here, and it came right here. At this point, yeah, I just played this stone here, you know, just securing this territory, and he passed. And at this point, I was just scanning the board to see if there are any more tactics, and I found one. So see, you know, think about those ideas that I just talked about at the beginning of this video, and see if you can spot the tactic here. Okay, I'm going to give the answer away now, so pause the video if you want time to think about it. But this position right here has an instance of the double hinge tactic that I was talking about. You know, there's this group with 3 liberties that can be cut from the rest of the group here. And after he passed, then I was able to place a stone right here. And, well, the interesting thing is he can't go in this direction because I'll just capture those stones. So he has to cut in the other direction. So if we back up, I said, you know, the key is there's 3 liberties. This group actually has 4 liberties, so it required a little bit of calculation, but in fact they can't escape. So in the game, you know, I played the cut. He attacked from this direction so that, you know, I wouldn't capture these stones. If I play here, then he just takes that, so these stones can connect and live. But that's not the idea. The idea is to extend, and these stones, you see that boot pattern again, those stones can't escape. Let's see, he played here, and I played here, and let's see, couldn't he capture here? Oh, no, I don't play there. I have to play here. I had to extend once more. Yeah, so it was a little bit tricky, because he was threatening to capture those stones, but he can't, and now I can. Now I play here, right? Yeah, I play there, and then those stones are captured, and I go on to win the game. So anyway, that is. Let's count up. Let's do the estimate score. It says black by 9.5. So yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe if that last tactic was necessary, but it was a close game, and certainly without those tactics, you know, I'm not sure who would have won there. Let's see. I was kind of wondering if there was some other way for him to save these stones. He might have been able to save them like this. No, it's still a little bit hard for him to. And then he goes after this stone, because he can capture this stone over here, and I'm just a little bit too late. So once he's got that guy captured, I can't. I don't think I can win those. But now I can turn and go after these. So yeah, I think that is an example of using the faulty hinge in a case where it's a little more complicated than simply 3 liberties on each side. But you know, I had this invading stone here already, cramping that group, and it wasn't immediately in a target. It still had 2 liberties here, which is important. And so yeah, I think this is a winning tactic here, that cut. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's just go out to the end point of the game, and that's how the game ended. Yeah, so that's it for this video. And oh, I'm going to put up the list of tactics here that you guys should remember, and I will put up some links to the other tactical videos that I've done in this series if you want to check them out. So see you guys later.